Okay, and it says you were going to pay it out. But we have one. They turn in comes to here.
They want to also turn the torches blue.
We got a full house.
Yeah.
No, it's over there.
We'll have to contact the prosecutors.
I just, she contacted me after the agenda was out.
Yes, speaker.
I don't remember why nobody came to pick up his Tracy.
We'll get that ordered today.
Well, it's probably a good thing.
It is a good thing.
So we want to move forward.
I think, yeah, we just go
You're
forward
supposed
with
to
the
do it.
first
He's
reading.
got the rough draft.
Correct it moving.
And they print it in their office in the room.
And we're supposed to read this if you want.
Do what?
There's two pages.
Hey,
You've already opened it? What is that?
This is just the general tab. This is the form.
Okay.
He's just highlighted. This is the one number he wanted.
the only way to do that is get off
They
of it.
have in these boxes.
Because they're never going to stop.
What would you do if I said I opened it?
I would think, holy crap.
I'm glad you did, but
You got a letter opener here.
sir,
The Brussels sprouts. The Brussels sprouts, right? The Brussels sprouts. Oh, the Brussels sprouts. Yeah, I like that. Very much. Yep.
Bonnie, that's good
Have
stuff.
they been calling you that for?
Yes, sir.
Are you good? Are you up and running?
With a dozen what?
Big Macs.
I don't know. I know.
You know,
Be nice.
Yeah.
Welcome everyone to this evening's meeting of the Mooresville Town Council. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a short invocation. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Lord, as we gather this evening, this council asks for your strength, courage, and wisdom in all of our decisions. We thank you for this wonderful town we live in and for giving us the privilege of serving it. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Call to order the March 21st meeting of the Mooresville Town Council. Gentlemen have had a chance to read the minutes from our previous meeting. I need a motion to either approve or amend the minutes as written.
Motion to approve the minutes as written.
Motion been made. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Greg, Josh, 5-0. We're going to go a little bit out of order on our agenda. Gentlemen, I would need a motion to adjourn. No, wait a minute. We have in our presence, we're honored to have in our presence Russell Lambert. Russell Lambert is a member of the Mooresville area, a resident of the Mooresville area, has been here most all of his life. It was brought to our attention, Shane brought it to our attention that there was a birthday here that passed not too long ago, and it was 106 years of age. Mr. Lambert's seen more of this town and happened in this town than any of us may ever see in our lifetime. He's been an instrumental part of this community, whether it's working with the schools or working with the fire departments. That man right there started, him and maybe some others, I'm going to give him the most credit, started the Madison Township Volunteer Fire Department. You know, a lot of times we think that we've created what's around us, and everything that's around us was created long before we ever got here. Mr. Lambert, I first
I've known him through my business, but I got to know him a lot through the Indy Honor Flight. Mr. Lambert comes to the reunions, and he always wins the quilt, I think, for the oldest veteran there. And very happily and willingly, the Indy Honor Flight gives him that quilt to thank him for what he's done. There's no way for us to truly thank him for everything that he's done for the town of Mooresville and the surrounding areas, but we can make a very humble and futile attempt at saying thank you to him this evening. Before us we have a proclamation. It says, whereas longevity of life is a blessing for an individual and for a community which benefits from the knowledge, creativity, and experience this individual brings to all. And whereas the town of Mooresville, Indiana recognizes with respect and admiration the contributions of senior citizens in our community. And whereas Mooresville area resident John Russell Lambert was born on March 6, 1917, and still resides at the Mooresville area farm that he moved his family to in 1954. Now, John had spent time here in the area before, but that's when these people came. John Russell Lambert proudly served as a member of the United States Navy during World War II in the Pacific Theater, protecting the freedoms that we all enjoy and cherish today. Whereas John Russell Lambert has dedicated his life to serving his community in various capacities as PTA president, a Mooresville School Holding Corporation officer, founding member of the Madison Township Fire Department, and even as an EMT, completing his training at the age of 74 at Brown Township Life Star. Numerous more positions that we're not going to mention tonight. Whereas the United States has the greatest number of centenarians in the world, and that John Russell Lambert should be honored for his 106 years on earth. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Mooresville Town Council, on behalf of its employees and the citizens of Mooresville, Indiana, honor John Russell Lambert for his long life and prosperity and wish him many more years. And be it proclaimed that March 22nd, that's tomorrow, 2023, be celebrated as John Russell Lambert Day in the civil town of Mooresville, Indiana. John, I'm sure everyone up here is anxious to say thank you, but thank you very much. Jeff?
It's an honor to have you guys here, and it's well-deserved. Thank you.
Yeah, I've known the family for quite some time as a youngster, and always been amazed. Each year that goes by, I hear stories about you, and I've seen you at the house restaurant down there, and it's amazing every year that goes by. So that's why I wanted to put you on the agenda, because you should be celebrated for what you've done. So thank you.
Josh?
Happy birthday, and thanks for your service.
Happy birthday, John, and appreciate everything you've done for our community and the service to our country. And we hope to see you maybe here next year.
For the quilt.
Love to. Yeah, bring your quilt. Thank you.
Great, if you would sign that. We have a proclamation with our town seal on it, and I'd like to present that to the family this evening. Do I need a motion? I guess I got the cart ahead of the horse, but I kind of painted each one of us into a corner. I need a motion to make tomorrow.
They're already signing it.
Yeah.
They're signing it for the vote.
Motion been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Celebrate your day.
Do we want to bring him up so that he can have a picture in front of the seal?
Be visible. So they see the town. Back up a little bit, there you go.
John, this was just a trick. We really needed to.
Okay.
We really needed to.
I have been tricked before.
We needed to collect the past due parking ticket from 1936.
Stand up there and give that to him so we can get a picture of you.
This is about.
Shane, would you please?
How about the family? Let's get the family. Come on. Give me your phone.
Come on, family. Yeah, we'll get it. I don't know what to do without my family too either. They put up with me for many years.
Are you hard to put up with?
Yes.
You know, for some reason I thought so. Let's all act like we're happy to be here. Thank you.
I'm fortunate to be alive yet.
We are fortunate.
John, my name is John. John Russell. And there's other things I've been called too.
Thank you, sir.
Let me get a hold of it.
Josh, how's your mic?
Well, I think you'll.
Are you behind in some things in my presence of my stroke? Oh, yeah. Things in the past.
Motion on that. I think Jeff said he was going to Dairy Queen with them. Oh, he came back. Each and everyone in the audience, when you get to be 100 years old, we'll honor you also. We promise. Next item on the agenda, or the first item that we passed up, is the Monroe Street bid opening. It looks like we have received 2 bids. It's on his bid form.
First bid is from Grady Brothers Incorporated. So the base bid for the eligible project is $1,430,000. $1,430,000. And the alternate one for the ineligible is $68,305. 68350.
What was that, 60?
305, sorry.
305.
68305. And the 496 and bid bond have been included as well, so.
And again, that was Grady Brothers Incorporated.
Real quick, what is the alternate bid? What is that?
That's the ineligible, so you have part of it that's gonna be community crossing stuff, and there's some
Okay,
other stuff that's
okay,
not part
all
of
right.
that, so.
Second bid is from Wallace Construction Incorporated. Read them or you want me to? Go ahead.
You can read them.
Do what?
This print smaller.
Print smaller. Their base bid on the eligible is $1,240,000, or $1,024,000, my mistake, $176.36. Let's do that again. I think I just transposed those. $1,024,176.63, and that's on the base bid, the eligible for the Community Crossings Matching Grant. The alternate ineligible is $89,925.
See verification, the Form 96.
Gentlemen, what we've done in the past and should continue to do is take all of the bids in for consideration, have our Department of Public Works Director, Dave Moore, and a representative of Banning Engineering to look these over, and come back to us. We are in a little bit of a time crunch. We have to have an accepted bid by the 6th of April. The clock started the day that we did it. Our next meeting is the 4th of April. This puts us in a good timeline to be able to get back from the engineering firm, the Department of Public Works Director, their recommendation. We need to make sure that everything is met. The wonderful part about this is there's two bids, and the other part about that is the fact that both Grady and Wallace have done work in the town of Mooresville before. Both of them are outstanding companies, and it's great to have them both bid on this project. I need a motion to take these in for consideration and have them reviewed for our next meeting.
Motion to take the bids into consideration, and have them for, the next meeting.
Motion been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Greg, Josh, 5-0. Any of the bidders are here. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You're not leaving, are you? Yeah, go ahead.
See ya.
We're going to go on to the additional appropriation ordinances. These are the first readings. Both of them schedule a public hearing for our next meeting, April 4th, at our regularly scheduled meeting. The first one is an additional appropriation ordinance 3, 2023, and this is in regards to the PACE fund. The PACE team has been disbanded. Our chief came to us and said, what are we going to do with all that money? And they're by contract, by memorandum of understanding, we have what we need to do with those. Jewel, do you want to kind of touch on what's happened, what's transpired this afternoon?
Yeah, so between now and the next meeting, what we're gonna have to do is check with the prosecutor's office to make sure that all outstanding forfeiture actions have been completed. We did get an order today, for distribution of certain funds out of this, so we're gonna have to take a look at that. We may have an amendment to the ordinance because of that, for consideration next time. But we'll wanna make sure that all the other, forfeiture actions have been resolved so that we don't get an order a year from now, for funds that are supposed to be out of there, but that's where we stand right now.
This is just the first reading. This is not a public hearing on this. However, on our sign-in sheet, we do have one person that signed in, and I don't know, Bridget?
Oh, no, that's for discussing a proposed proclamation, sorry.
later on, okay. Just wanted to make sure I didn't. Usually Thursday, I say, oh, I was supposed to call someone.
Jewel, if the amount changes between now and the public hearing, is it okay as long as it's lower? Or?
Yeah, because we will be going down.
Okay.
But my bigger concern is that we're gonna have more cases that aren't resolved.
Yeah.
And so we may just have to revisit it to get all together, and then just have the public hearings on the others and not.
This is for the chief's request, correct?
Correct.
Chief of police.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we will have a public hearing and we will have the second reading of that at our next meeting. Next item on the agenda is additional appropriation ordinance 4, 2023, police K-9 program. Josh, to bring you up to speed and to refresh all of our memories, we had appropriated out of the general fund a revenues for the K-9 program. It was placed into a reverting fund at the end of the year. Chief Buckner said he did have some expenses, but we did not have invoices for them to be able to encumber those funds. They went back to the general. If you look at our dollar amount there, what we had left from the original funds that we put in there was $9,250. This is an additional appropriation to put that back into his K-9 line item as this new venture or renewed venture progresses for the Mooresville Metropolitan Police Department. These funds will still be available. It's not moving new monies, it's moving obligated monies from last year back where they were reverted from. This is not a public hearing. That will be scheduled for our next meeting at the second reading. Are there questions from the council?
Yeah, this is ordinance 4, 2023.
Yes.
My paperwork says 24.
It does say 2024. Chief, put the dog on hold. We gotta wait.
It says 24.
Did the last one?
Mine says 24.
Mine does too.
The heading.
Good catch.
Where's it at?
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Next item is ordinance 5. This was funds for the comprehensive plan. I think there were maybe some delays or some holdbacks that they're getting around to that. I think you guys have, the comprehensive organizing board or planning steering board have a meeting the 22nd of this month. Is that tomorrow?
It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, I think at 4 o'clock.
Do they know that it's John Lambert Day in the town of Mooresville?
They will tomorrow.
There you go. Okay, so this is just making sure that the funds are available. They were appropriated for it. We talked at that point, during that process on whether or not we would make this a non-reverting fund. The State Board of Accounts, Baker Tilly, legal counsel, they kind of wavered from that. What we were looking for was a way to make sure that there was always funds available to do that, and I think what we can do is possibly do that with a line item in this year's budget. Are there questions or comments about Ordinance 5, 2023? We will have a public hearing and our second reading at our next meeting. Department heads. Everybody at once. Take your time.
Few things, just to kind of catch the council up on the March the 10th, fire department along with the police department, sheriff's department, state police, we honored Sergeant I'm sure I'm going to say his last name wrong, Garrities, and his family for coming back home, for serving over the seas. Excuse me. It was actually a really honor. Our crews had the garrison flag out, and we stood at the roadside. I was able to get the schools there on 144 to get out and basically show their respect also. It was an honor, really was. So, sorry. Also, to keep you guys in the loop, I reported that we had two firefighters that went off to paramedic school. They have successfully completed their state and class recommendations. They are actually now certified as paramedics for the town of Mooresville. Earlier today, we had a code red drill for the Mooresville School Corporation and the Mooresville School Police. There was a lot of agencies involved. It was very, very good training. We learned a lot. We've been doing this for the last 20 years that I can remember, 22 years actually. And we learn every year. It was a big cooperation with everything, and it went well today. I'm sure we learned a lot more stuff today, and we'll go from there and get better. Also, earlier, I can't remember exactly. I'm sure that if we look back, we sold some fire gear off to Martinsville Fire Department, and we received the $2,800 for that amount. Would like to ask the council if we could get that reappropriated back into my budget under the PPE, so we can get that gear replaced and put it in and basically purchase for somebody else that's coming in. I did receive a letter earlier this week that we are having one of our full-time guys leaving our department. So he's actually took a lateral transfer going to another department. Hopefully, we can, with our process starting, we can get somebody in place quickly. So other than that, I have nothing further.
While you're here, and gentlemen, I just want to make sure that the council is comfortable with it. There are a few misunderstandings and miscalculations and timing constraints. We stopped our merger, the process of creating a fire territory for this year. The state of Indiana has kept that as a moving target as far as what we can and can't do to merge our departments. I think we probably could have asked John Lambert, and in 1935 they were probably talking about merging our departments. I had asked Shane and Jeff to sit on a committee to merge those. After the last setback, a little bit of a setback, Shane had asked to be removed from that committee. With the council's permission, I would like to step into that. I was cordially invited to a meeting with the township trustee, the chiefs, Jeff, and I don't know, the highest man on the totem pole at the SCBA, the State Board of Accounts. We got some good information, I think, don't you, Jeff?
Absolutely, yeah.
And we see a path to move forward. You know, they talk about golf and they say if it was easy, everyone would play it. If it was easy to merge these departments, they would have been merged a long time ago. It's going to take some thick skin. It's going to take some tough questions being asked. It's going to take trying to find out every answer before the question is asked. And with the council's permission, I would like to jump in there with Jeff. We'll fight this so-called fire together and see if we can walk away from this with a merged departments, or if we say that nope, not going to happen again for another 20 years. At least we can say that we tried as hard as we could. Is that all right with the council? Can I have a motion to allow me to work with Jeff on this?
Motion to bring you in on this work.
Motion made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
I look forward to the opportunity. Thank you. Craig Shane, 5-0. Hey, look who it is.
I just have a couple things. First of all, I wasn't aware there were pending forfeitures, and I'm already working on finding out how many are left. I was put in contact with the attorney that was doing them, so
Like Veritas.
it's, Taylor, Josh Taylor. He used to work for Garrison or whatever. So I need to try to figure it out, and I'll talk to Mrs. Copeland about that. Secondly, probably this week, I'm going to purchase 3 flock cameras. I don't know if you guys know what the flock cameras are, but they're basically license plate. They call them fingerprinting license plates. They collect information. The county just purchased a bunch of them. One of them is in our jurisdiction, checking northbound traffic. I'm going to get the southbound traffic in our jurisdiction and put a couple on 144. They're an awesome tool. You can put, if you had a holdup and you had a red Ford truck involved, you can put in red Ford truck and it'll show you every red Ford truck that passed the flock cameras. It's not a facial recognition. It's nothing like that. It's all objective evidence of just collected intel. So right now, until the end of March, they're $2,500 a piece for a year, and a $350 one-time installation fee. After April 1st, they go up to $3,000 a piece and $750 installation fee. When we have the 3 cameras, we'll have access to all the cameras in the state, and I think there's 156 cameras in the state: Marion County, Hamilton County, Boone County, Hancock County. So it'd be a great tool. I'm going to use my drug fund to do it. So.
How are they powered?
Pardon me?
How are they powered?
Solar. Yeah, so solar, and the good thing is you're paying for you're leasing basically the camera. Flock takes care of all the maintenance. You don't have to mess with any of that. So.
They mounted on a pole? Or?
So they'll put a footer in and then put a pole. They'll mount the camera and then put a solar panel that collects the power. I think initially when they talked about it before, there was a misconception. It was $3,000 per camera a month, but or $2,500. And I think before they had a minimum of 5 you had to buy. Now you can get 1 or 2 or 3, but I thought 3 would cover us pretty well. So we're losing an officer on March 31st. Levi Martin accepted a job with Putnam County Sheriff's Department, so he's leaving in good standing with me, and I told him if he wanted to come back, I'll take him back. So he lives in Putnam County. He wants to be close to his family, so that's why he's leaving. So we're going through the list right now, doing background checks on the process we had earlier in the year. So we should start interviews pretty quickly. Pardon me? I think to get it started, it is. I can't, other than Indiana Street, I think 144 and 67, Hendricks County has 2 cameras on the county line, and we have access to those. And then we'll have 144 covered and 67 south of town covered. So I think we should be pretty good.
With that membership, you'll have access to all cameras, won't you?
Yeah. So all my officers will have access to the cameras, and if we take a stolen vehicle report, they'll be able to put that plate in there. If that plate crosses a flock camera, they can get a text within 8 seconds saying that it went by. Yeah. And so what we did, we had it in Indianapolis. What we did was we used the pattern, like the stolen car or felony vehicle or Amber Alert or whatever goes by this same camera this time every day, then I would just go up and sit and wait for it. So it's a great tool to use, but you have to pay to play. So I think it's going to be a good investment for us. And getting in, we can do a 5-year contract and stick with that $2,500 a year before April 1st, so I'm gonna go ahead and, before I leave for vacation, I'm gonna order them. So, that's all I got, unless you guys got any questions.
Satisfied with just 3.
Well, I mean, if you,
I mean,
With the price going up April 1st, I mean, it's a pretty good deal with what he's got, because originally, like you said, it was monthly, and the price was
Yeah.
astronomical.
I was trying to be frugal about it, but,
I know.
you know, I would like to get the whole town covered. But like I said, the only other way that I would want to cover in town is probably Indiana Street at the county line in Hendricks County, because if they come off 70 and get on 267, they can come in town that way or get out that way. A lot of our crimes are happening close to the Hendricks County line, just because of the problems up there in Hendricks and Marion.
but they are directional then.
Yeah, they're directional. They make some portable ones. We have some portable ones set up in the county right now on an investigation, but state police has the access to those, but they're using a lot of their cameras on the interstate because they've had several murders on the interstate for road rage type stuff. So we'll have access. We will be able to increase the number of cameras, but it's just going to cost more money.
Is this similar to what the school has?
Yeah, so the school has a plate camera, and we use that today in our scenario, and it's a pretty good camera. But I don't know that it actually collects that data. Do you know, Jeff?
No, they think I have access, but I don't.
I know we had it on the cameras, you can pull it up, but I don't know that it stores that data. Now, one thing about the flock, it only stores plates for 30 days, because that keeps people from saying, oh, you're using it for, fishing purposes or whatever. But it's like I said, it's an awesome tool, especially when you have a missing person or a stolen car. And we don't have murders in Mooresville, but we get a car stolen here and there and some thefts. So I think it's going to benefit all the agencies, and for us to be able to get on there and assist us and find a bad guy. So other than that, that's all.
I do have a question for Jewel, and I don't care if it's not a good question, I'm gonna ask it anyway.
Okay.
Is there any sort of additional liability that this would add to the town from a civil liberty standpoint?
Tom had kind of asked me the same question about the Fourth Amendment in illegal search and seizure. Cases out there right now talk about, like, if you actually invade the space or you touch the vehicle with chalk or something like that, that could be constituting a search. But with this, it is simply taking a picture of the license plate, and that's out in open space. You're not invading the space itself. You can see it from wherever, and so it is not a violation of the Fourth Amendment in searches. Now, there may be a case that comes down a few years down the road which changes everything, but right now, camera systems are not a violation.
Yeah, and a lot of people are hesitant because of the facial recognition problems and the traffic cameras that issues tickets, because, and it's a totally an intelligence-based instrument, and if you put if I put an officer out on the road with a notepad and wrote down the plates, it's the same thing, to me. So I don't see it's free air, free sight, so.
Tom, do we have other funding options if we want to get another camera before the price goes up in April to cover like the west side of town? or-
I sent a 4-wheel drive, a boat, and a helicopter, and he didn't get in. So I mean, if he's good with 3, I guess we see how those 3 go.
I asked for a helicopter today.
You did.
I thought you wanted a dirigible.
I do.
I was waiting for the request, but it hasn't come.
Yeah,
Oh, the whole room full of people, we need a helicopter.
absolutely.
Does the price go down the more you get, or no? Or are they set prices?
It's what it is. To me, the price of the camera is what it is, but I thought it was kind of weird that it was going up from $350 to $750 on just installing it for one time. That's just pouring, which concrete's not cheap
Yeah,
nowadays.
they'll probably have to get a minimum concrete.
Just to pour a
But if we don't use their pole, do they still charge that $750 if they're not pouring concrete?
It's one of those things.
Installation
you
is
gotta
that,
use all their,
regardless if it's on
we
another
can't
pole.
do it on our own. Yeah. So, like I said, if you would want to help me with these, and I can get 2 more and cover the west side of town, I'm just trying to be tactical about it now to get from what I was going to get
But it's a one-time $2,500, or is that $2,500 a year?
a year.
A year.
Yeah, the one-time fee is for them to come out and pour the slab and put the pole in, and put the camera up, and then 2,500, and we could, like I said, we could get on a 5-year contract and lock that price in. That was my big thing of trying to get
I
done.
mean, they service them and everything, so
Yeah.
we're not responsible for.
Yeah, if somebody comes by and knocks it down, then they'll come out and put a new one up. But think about it, let me know. I'll leave the 27th. Thanks.
Thank you. He's got a big stack of papers, and we all know what those are, don't we?
Be a minute. So Brenda Hunt, the lady that's working in our office on the cemetery, she, as we all know, is with the Daughters of the Revolution. Her group wants to come to the cemetery and do, kind of cut the brush back, raise the shade on the trees, and just kind of help spruce it up, make it look better. So I told her I'd bring that to the council, and they have a waiver statement here. If the council would like to move forward with this, I'll pass this on to Jewel for review. Secondly, so tomorrow we've got in our possession, we went to the state of Indiana and picked up 400 trees, and we're offering those to the people that live here in town. They can come through the street department, drive through, we'll give you a couple of trees. They're small saplings. We've got gray dogwood, bald cypress, white pines, and Norway spruce. So if the council's okay with that, we'll hand out some free trees to the.
We're gonna make sure that they don't plant it in planting strips or rights of way, so we don't have to cut them down.
It was stated on the website to not put them in the right-of-ways or under power lines. Yeah. The last thing I have, since we talked about community crossings, we have this stack of appraisals here that, since now we have good bids, does council want me to move forward with that? We want to talk about that?
I think what we need to do is we're gonna get into, if it's the Monroe Street project, if we set up, we talked about maybe trying to schedule an executive session for other issues. Would the right-of-ways and the parcels that are under the road that the state of Indiana did not have deeded to us, is that land acquisition?
It would be a land acquisition issue, so it could be strategy as to how to approach that land act. Because we don't have the right of way right now, we don't have
the right of way.
and so it would be, how do we get that? So I think we'd probably cover that under that meeting.
We got our, and did Banning, apparently they're not appraisers, I think is the way the email read, is that correct? Because we were expecting kind of some lower appraisals, but they were done by professionals. They come in, and we have some very hard decisions to make coming up. Let's just, can I just go ahead and pull that out there? I suppose. Jeff had asked, and there are a couple of issues that we need to have an executive session on. And we were going to try to schedule that yet this evening. Those would be possible litigation on two different subjects, and then also the land acquisition with this. So I'm asking the council to consider. I think, Josh, you said that you may have some conflicts next week, that if maybe one night this week or during the day or afternoon, I think at 48 hours we would be locked into sometime Thursday or Friday. Is that correct? And you're leaving Friday, Josh?
Yeah, Friday early, so I won't be around Friday.
Before our next meeting doesn't work? Or-
Yeah, well, if that's all right with you, I mean, we could just do it.
Yeah, it's not pressing.
I'm gonna say with
Is it present?
this additional,
I don't know. No, it'll be before the meeting. The 6th was the deadline on the,
Is this pressing though? Does
This-
this need to be dealt with?
this is
Soon.
outside of the, outside of the community
Okay.
crossings. Remember when we discussed that, and I said,
Yeah.
we can't hurt the community crossings grant. So you want to schedule an executive session for 5 o'clock?
Yeah, before the first meeting in April, right?
Okay. Yep, let's do it. I need a motion to schedule an executive session for 3 items, before our April 4th meeting at 5 o'clock. Can I have that motion?
So moved.
Motion been made, do I have a second? Second. Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
We will, I'm thinking, I know there's a lot there. We kind of I went through the email, came up with totals. If nothing else, if you could ask Julie to do a spreadsheet that just has the property owner name, the value, and get that to, council members before the 4th. You got 2 weeks.
Condense this down in an email to all the.
Fisher Price, of
Okay.
course.
All right. The torches, as soon as we get some dry ground, we will get the torches buttoned up. They look pretty cool. And then, the redevelopment commission was able to secure the rest of the banner arms today. So we will be able to get that finished up. NDOT dropped the ball on half of the order. So, that's all I have. Any questions?
Well, we need to move back to allowing,
Yeah, the Daughters of the American Revolution for the cleanup. There's just one little typo that I have in there. The waiver is significant, is sufficient, if you want to proceed with it.
Dave, you recommend we proceed, correct?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
it's great service to the town.
I recommend we proceed with the Daughters of the American Revolution to help with the cemetery cleanup and approve their waiver of liability.
motion been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Do I sign? Do I sign this or?
Well, they'll need each individual to sign it, who's going to be doing it, and then you'll sign once they do that. Stay 1 second.
Change those. Anything else?
Oh, I have.
I was just going to go ahead and touch the RFPQ while Dave was up here.
Okay.
If that's okay. So I've worked with Dave. He gave me the information to put together the RFPQ regarding the HVAC upgrades that need to occur. So it is in your packet. There are just 2 things that I really need to be determined. One is, who do you want the point of contact to be? I don't want to fill it in. I'm assuming it's Dave. And then the receipt of the proposals, usually you have a 30-day kind of period. So in 2 meetings, you'll be short of 30 days. So the April 18th will be short of 30 days. So the first meeting in May would give ample time for the proposals to come in. So if you're okay with that, and if you don't have any revisions to the RFPQ, other than that, and us putting Dave in on that last page, I can finalize that and get that out onto the streets.
How do we get that onto the streets?
So one, we'll post a notice, so we'll have an advertising that this is out there, and they can contact Diana for it. We know at least one company that is interested in it, so I'll just go ahead and send it to them, so they have it. And then as others contact us, we provide it to them, and we go from there.
Jeff, you and I had a conversation about this, and this is kind of where the direction that we need to go. I think it puts us right. You know, I think we need to give them that little extra time, that over the 30 days.
Sure.
And quite honestly, the way that money, the recovery money is worded, we just have to have a decision or a plan by the end of this year. It doesn't necessarily have to have completed work, but at least bids. Is that acceptable to you, Jeff?
Yeah, that's fine. That's my understanding.
Dane?
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Great. I need a motion to approve the request for proposal qualifications, the what was it, RFPQ for the HVAC PDQ ASAP. I need that motion.
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor? Aye. That is Jeff, Greg. 5-0.
And if I may, I forgot one item. So we'd like to replace a couple of pickup trucks at the street department. So if it's okay with the council, I'd like to come back with with quotes for availability and pricing on 2 pickup trucks, for the street department.
That doesn't hurt to look and maybe bring us an update on the build dates on the dump trucks.
Sure.
Is that all right with the council?
Yes.
Thank you.
Every department head asking for money. We'll see. Let's see if they've corrupted our newest department head. Welcome.
Good evening. So I have a few items for the council this evening, just kind of bringing up to speed of what's happening over in parks. So the Old Town Park, we're in the process of, with the state, of getting our final permits for our central restroom facility there. The council can expect the actual process of the preparation for that building starting in April. So you'll start seeing some earthwork and preparation for that site, so we can get it ahead of the game. So it will, once we get the state permit, it is a 6-week lead before the building is actually shipped. So the sooner that we get the site prepped and ready to go, the faster that we can actually get it final installed. The other highlight for one of our staff members, our Assistant Superintendent Keelan, just attended the NRPA's Revenue Development and Management School. It's a national standard for the best practices and procedures for public works and then also for parks and recreation departments. It's a 2-year school, so he just completed year 1. He'll be continuing that for a future year next year, attending for his year 2 and actually graduation. It's a great resource. I personally have attended that school and brought back resources from that. So looking forward to kind of picking Keelan's brain on what he learned this past week. So other than that, hiring, summer seasonal. So if anybody knows, community members that are here right now in attendance and also that are listening online, we are hiring multiple different staff positions, summer seasonal help in the parks, laborers, lifeguards, concessions, and also our summer camps. With an update for you guys, you'll actually see some updates currently happening in Pioneer Park with partnership with Mooresville Baseball and us. Wallace Construction is actually doing renovation and field access improvements. This includes a concrete pad around the central concession stand, along with concrete pads for all the bleacher stands and asphalt pathways for access for majority of the fields in the lower section of Pioneer Park. That completion should be within the next week or 2. Concrete was completed today. Asphalt is scheduled to be next week or the week after, weather pending. Other member, basically to speak on, through my time here, I've come to find a lot of our land is within town limits, minus of 5 parcels. 5 parcels of the park property that has been purchased by the town still has yet to be annexed into the town limits. So the council will be seeing basically the annexation process for those 5 parcels in the very short future. So other than that, I'd love to answer any questions that the council may have at this time.
Several people asked me about age limits on the hiring. What is it?
On the hiring, 15 years for our lifeguards, the concessions, and also our summer camp as well. Now for our seasonal maintenance, we ask for 18 because we're dealing with the mowers and the chainsaws. So
lifeguards are
15, yes. Okay. Yep. Concessions 15, there is limitations on what they can do within the concession stand at 15 years of age, but, we still, can have, 15-year-olds in the concessions. And
I don't know if you're aware or not, if you're here yet, but the request for proposal for HVAC, your office is on that list, because I know the AC's out up there, I'm aware of that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We've, I actually did a little due diligence, had 3 companies actually did a 2-ton bid for a quote for the replacement of both the HVAC system, also with the tentative expansion of our office, what kind of HVAC system would be necessary. So I will get with Dave on that so he can be up to speed of what 3 companies we spoke with. But I'm eager to see what.
Yeah, I
what
just wanted
companies do
you
bid.
aware.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions? Concrete's still wet enough we can go put our initials in it?
Don't recommend it, but it should be cured. Hopefully, it cured enough before the rain hits this evening. So,
Just want to say, very impressed with your presentation for your initial contact with us here. Did a great job tonight, so.
Yeah. I think that's it. Sounds like department heads. Legal counsel. Nothing further. Public comments. Is that a paper, rock, scissors? Who won?
Good evening. I'm Bridget Morales, and also Mooresvillian. I'm the community coordinator for MCSAC, which is Morgan County Substance Abuse Council. And I'm proud to announce that this week we just got a charter. Our agency with DCS, with Firefly, which was Children's Bureau, and other agencies combined to form Prevent Child Abuse Morgan County. And we have that charter. So we are trying to promote Prevent Child Abuse, and we've asked if Diana is allowing us to post some of our pinwheels for awareness of Prevent Child Abuse. And I'm here to ask for approval of a proclamation that I was not able to print out because my printer hates me. But if you want me to read it to you, I'm happy to send it to you when we get back. And since my computer works, my printer does not. So, would you like me to read?
Yeah.
Okay. Prevent Child Abuse Month Proclamation, April 2023. Whereas during National Child Abuse Prevention Month, our town stands as one to prevent child abuse in all of its forms, including physical, emotional, and sexual abuse, as well as online exploitation and trafficking. And whereas, sadly, abuse and neglect are a tragic reality for some of our children in the community, and whereas acknowledge that we must work together as a community to increase awareness about child abuse and prevent the well-being of children and families in safe, stable, and nurturing environments. Whereas child abuse and neglect is a serious problem affecting every segment of our community, and finding solutions requires input and action from everyone. And whereas our children are our most valuable resources and will shape the future of Morgan County, Indiana. And whereas children can have long-term psychological, emotional, and physical effects that have lasting consequences for victims of abuse. And whereas we commit as a community to support families and community programs to prevent child maltreatment, and everyone has a role to play in helping the families in our community be resilient and access support. And then it says, now therefore, we the Town Council of Mooresville do hereby proclaim April 2023 as Child Abuse Prevention Awareness Month. In addition to asking for this proclamation, I'm hoping to read the one for Mooresville at our event on April 14th. So if you approve it for next Town Council, we can use that for our event on the 14th, which will be at 1 o'clock at the church across from the high school. I believe Chief is still behind me, but he's talking at that one. We will have speakers and blue candy to turn because the color is blue, turn your tongue blue, and that shows your support to help the community about child abuse. And in addition, there's a free movie on April 19th. It's a Mario new movie at Showtime Cinema, which will also be promoting a good, fun family event to prevent child abuse.
And you had said to me that you wanted to turn our torches blue, correct?
Yes, you say call it Gateway, right? The
Gateway
blue.
torches. The park also has a separate flame, but
Yeah, last time I asked the park, is it still here? That was broken, is it fixed?
I'll check on that.
Okay, good. Otherwise, can we turn it blue? Yes.
so can she email the proclamation and put it on the agenda for next meeting?
That, or we can approve it tonight.
I'd like to see one of you vote against it.
Do what?
I'd like to see one of you vote against it.
I'm all for it. We can get a consensus, but please get it to us. We'll get it on, get it to Diana. We'll get it on the agenda. We'll make sure that we have, try to draw the much needed attention that issue deserves. Is that acceptable with the council?
Yeah, and she wouldn't have to come back to the next meeting if she doesn't want to. We could deliver the actual you could come in and pick it up, or
I can do that.
are you gonna print it on the official, like what we did tonight for Mr. Lambert? So, but if you don't want to attend the next meeting, you wouldn't have to redo this another time, you know what I'm saying?
I could bring it to you.
Oh, yeah, he's
I know
my
where
neighbor.
you live.
Yeah,
Hey, well, thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
thank you.
Are there any other public comments? I need a motion for approval of payment of claims.
Motion to approve payable vouchers in the amount of $766,410.64.
Motion been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Greg, Josh, 5-0. Second docket.
Motion to approve payroll clearing in the amount of $198,495.03.
Motion been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Greg, Josh, 5-0. Town council comments.
I've none.
Payne?
Wanting to thank the police and fire chief and all the police and fire personnel, as well as the sheriff's department, the school system, school police department, a whole bunch of people today that participated in the Code Red drill. My team was the observation team. It was the first time I got to see it. It was pretty amazing what all went on with that. So I'm proud of the effort that the community puts towards protecting its children. And no, you can't have a helicopter. But anyway, thank you very much for what you did.
Josh?
I have none.
Greg?
Just honored to be able to, Russ Lambert Day tomorrow. That's really awesome, 106 years.
Yes, it is, and as sharp as he is. If I'd look at a dirigible, I think they're probably a little more feasible rather than a helicopter. There you go. And we could spread our message. Gentlemen, our next meeting date will be April 4th. Remember, we will have an executive session prior to that, starting at 5 o'clock. You guys want to do it here? Or at the town hall? Okay, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Greg Shane, 5-0. Or adjourned.
Yeah.
You want to take a picture of that?
That meeting tomorrow. I don't
It's at 4.
Make one change to that.
my other email.
What's that?
She said that.
I don't use that other email anymore.
Oh, I bet that's what they got, because when you joined, it was prior to being on the council. Thanks a lot for coming.
I don't get off till 4.
That's when it is.
Where at?